There you go.
Oh, there we go. I think it's I think part of the privilege I handed you earlier lets you do that. Perfect. Perfect. Okay, so welcome everyone to the Networking for Engineers workshop presented by GCW. Our presenter today is Jaffer Almosawy. Before I get into that though, um, let me quickly introduce myself. So my name is Justin Sith, hosting this WebEx meeting on behalf of the Engineering Career Services. But getting back into the workshop, our speaker today is Jaffer Almosawy. Jaffer is a licensed professional engineer with GCW's water slash wastewater division and has over 8 years of experience. He graduated from UNLV in 2013 with his BS in Civil and Environmental Engineering. Jaffer has been very involved with the American Society of Civil Engineers and is currently serving as the chair and Western Graphic Western Geographic member of ASCE's Committee on Younger Members. He has received national recognition for his achievements within the civil engineering profession and was named one of ASCE's 2018 New Faces of Civil Engineering, and locally was named ASCE Southern Nevada Branch's 2018 Young Engineer of the Year. Some of the things that Jaffer enjoys include traveling, coffee shops, Korean barbecue, and the Los Angeles Lakers. He would also like you to know that he is the creator of the infamous hashtag ASCE made me, which has been used on thousands of posts on Instagram. So, without further ado, I'm going to hand it off to Jaffer, and he can go ahead and take things away from here.
Awesome. Thanks for the introduction. I didn't know you were going to read the whole thing, but I guess it's a good one. But yeah, thank you guys for all having me. Let me just get set up real quick. All right. 1 second here. Okay. All right, cool. So, as you said, my name is Jaffer Almosawy. I am a licensed engineer, and I work for GCW in the wastewater division. A little bit about myself. He already told us I work in water wastewater division. I started in 2012 as an intern. I graduated in 2013. I was involved with the AACE student chapter, and I was one of the engineering ambassadors back before there was an official engineering ambassador program. Um, let's see. Sorry, this thing is in my view. Let me see if I can fix it. That's fine. How do I get rid of this? Sorry, I don't use WebEx too often, so I'll just put it down here. Okay, so a little bit about my current involvement. He said I'm currently the chair of AAC's Committee on Younger Members. I oversee all younger member groups in the nation. And specifically, I also oversee the Western geographic area as well. I was past president. I was former board of directors on the College of Engineers Alumni Board. I'm heavily involved with the Future City competition, and I chaired a leadership conference that came into Las Vegas in 2018. Which a lot of this, the reason I'm telling you is because this is very important information for what networking essentially is, and I'll get into a little bit more detail about that. The other thing I wanted to share is a lot of the pictures I'm sharing here are all pictures of me, pictures I've taken, pictures of things that I've done. So it kind of goes to the theme of networking. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know. I just don't know if I can see them there they go. So yeah, feel free to interrupt and let me know if you have a question. So without further ado, let's get started. So essentially, what is networking? and for this, what I did is I straight up to Google and I found the definition of networking, and that happened to be the action or process of interacting with others to exchange information and develop professional social contacts. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me that sounds a little bit too technical, a little bit boring. And what I've always been told is, yes, and I'm sure you guys have been told this before, but it's not about what you know, it's about who you know, and that essentially is what networking kind of encompasses throughout your career. It's always going to come down to who you know and how they can help or how you can help them. But what does that look like? Networking is probably going to be something very new for you in this stage of your career. So what does that look like? So I put this collage of pictures together, and if you've seen any of my other presentations, you've probably seen these pictures, but essentially, networking, this is what networking looks like when I was in college. I involved myself in everything and put myself out there and met as many people as I could, and it led to kind of where I'm at right now. And I'll explain a little bit more about that later. All right. So kind of the question, why do you care? Why should you network? Well, essentially what it comes down to is there's four things that you get from networking with people, whether it's engineering, whether it's business, whether it's, personal life, professional life. You're looking for guidance, somebody to kind of help, help you kind of along the path you're taking, wherever you're trying to go. Maybe you're looking for opportunities. Even if you're not looking for a new opportunity, your network can really present to you options that, might not always be available otherwise. So opportunities are a very big importance when you get into the field, especially in my field, civil engineering. Opportunities are, in the form of potential projects that you can work on, potential new people that you can bring on to work for you or work with you, other companies that you can work with, things along that line. Growth is a very big part of networking. If you are somebody who, is very smart and can do all the calculations or can do everything by yourself, that's awesome. But, in engineering, there's always room to grow. And the only way to grow is from, talking to others, whether that's more experienced people above you or clients who've done, work, contractors, construction, people, there's always an opportunity for you to grow, and your network can really help with that. And that kind of leads into the last reason of why you should network. And that's your resources. And it kind of goes back to the whole, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. So many times where if I don't know how to do something, I can reach out to my network and ask questions, get feedback, opinions, things like that. And, you'll learn along in your career when you take the EIT exam, when you if you take the PE exam, or anytime you take a test in engineering or do homework, you are using your resources. As an engineer, you're taught to do a lot of the calculations, but you're also you're not expected to know everything, and your resources are probably going to be your number one asset. And when it comes down to it, your network is your resource. All right, next. So kind of, and this is going to be a very short presentation because there's a lot that we can go into, and I hope there's a lot of questions that I can help elaborate on. So definitely ask those if you have them. So how do you start networking? I kind of wanted to split this up into two kind of categories. There is the networking while you're in college, and the networking while you're in your career. Now, I'm assuming everybody's in school as a freshman, senior, whatever you are. This is kind of where you want to start. So the important thing to realize is that you're doing it right now. Just you being on this workshop, participating in this is a form of networking. It might not seem like it, but you're able to kind of meet who I am, meet other people who are in the same workshop you are, and then it gives you a potential to kind of connect later on. The biggest thing that I stress is join an organization. like in my intro, he said I'm heavily involved with AACE. You can be involved with SWE, IEEE, NSPE, any of those organizations. I highly stress you get involved with that, because those are very crucial to building your network. An example, a lot of my time in college was spent through AACE, and AACE is the reason why I got the job that I have today. Quick story. A friend of mine that I was going to school with was interning with the Clark County Water Reclamation District, and he was on a new project, and the client that they had working for that project was GCW, and the project manager on that job needed an intern to bring on because it was a fairly large job, and they were looking for an intern to help. That person that was interning, my classmate, mentioned my name, and that's how I kind of got into the interview. Um, And coincidentally, the same day that I had an interview, that same night, that project manager was also recommended me by somebody else at another event later on that night. So just me being involved in meeting key individuals really does help put you in a very good position to get to different places. And it doesn't have to be a professional organization. It can be things like Toastmasters. It can be a church club. It can be K through 12 volunteering. Helping out middle school, high school kids. Whatever it is that you can get involved in, you're building your network, and it's the easiest way to kind of build your circle and build contacts that you can reach out to later on. The other thing that you can do is talk to your friends, talk to your professors. Maybe you have a friend that you're going to class with that has an internship. Maybe they can refer you to their company for an internship, or know of another company that's hiring. Talk to your professors. Your professors, I mean, I still have a lot of my professors from when I was in school reaching out to me and sending me resumes, sending me different things that I should be aware about. So talk to your professors. They have a very close ear to the ground when it comes to this industry, and whether you're civil, mechanical, I'm sure they still keep in touch with a lot of their students. Social media. I mean, you might not know it, but being on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it's a form of a network. That's why it's called social networks. Make sure you have those, social media platforms. And if you don't want to have one of those, at the very least, maybe a LinkedIn profile. And also be wary of what you put on there. Because, I mean, especially on LinkedIn, it's a professional platform. You want to make sure you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to that network. But I've met so many different people through social media who are engineers, who are also influencers on social media, stuff like that. So definitely get involved. And then once you kind of do all that, that's really building you a strong foundation for when you graduate. And once you graduate, it gets a little bit more complex, but the last one was attending meetings and webinars like you're doing right now. So attend as many as you can, always, and that will carry over into your career. Hopefully I'm not going too fast, but all right. So as far as your career, once you get, start working, you want to start developing a relationship with your manager, develop a relationship with your coworkers. This is very crucial because they are the ones who have experience, and they're the ones who are going to be training you. So you want to kind of build a very strong, base, with them, so that they can help you, because as soon as you kind of develop that relationship, they will start introducing you to other people who can help you as well. And it might be very subtle. It might be in the form of projects. It might be in the form of clients or other project managers. But that relationship does help you build your own network. Staying involved in professional organizations. I know that there are a lot of student organizations, and it doesn't end when you graduate. I give AACE as an example a lot because I'm heavily involved with them, but AACE is the largest civil engineering professional network in the world. They have over 150,000 members, worldwide. That alone right there, being a part of that organization opens your doors to as many people as you can, from, CEOs of AECOM, companies, or, people on the East Coast, West Coast, in the Midwest. I've met so many people across the country just by staying involved. I cannot stress the importance of that. And a lot of that is done by attending different conferences. I've attended conferences in Miami. I've gone to Philadelphia, Detroit. I've gone to Hawaii. I've gone to Alaska. All of these different conferences, just purely through AACE, and I've met all these people through those attending conferences. And part of that, it's a kind of like a win-win situation. You're meeting people, and you're also gaining knowledge and building your skills up. Client interaction. So when you start working as an engineer, this is kind of more primarily for civil engineering, but it kind of overlaps into other fields as well. But you might not get client interactions right off the bat, but work with your, if you develop that strong relationship with your own manager, they might start bringing you to meetings and interactions with clients so that you can start building some name recognition, and start building some kind of how do you say, I'm stuck for a word right now, but your own wow, I'm really stuck for a word right now. Your own rep, for lack of a better word right now. And then keeping in contact with your classmates. This is very important as well once you get into your careers. This is kind of the reason this is important is because a lot of the people that you go to school with, the people that you are sitting next to in class with, might become your manager one day. They might become your client one day. So make sure you have good relationships with your classmates, and always make sure that you do your best to get to know those people as well, because some people will move up, and later on they might, even if one day you are out of a job or something happens and you need a new job, you can reach out to old classmates and they will know which way to direct you and help you out. Let's see. All right, so why does any of that matter right now? Because we're in a pandemic, right? So this is kind of off the shoot kind of thing. So I put this picture behind here. This is kind of what we're all kind of used to. I mean, we're on a virtual call right now, but this is kind of what networking looks like during a pandemic. It's a lot of Zoom calls. It's a lot of the WebEx. But the only problem with networking during these kind of situations is you don't really get face-to-face interaction, and you have to fight for your your time to speak with somebody. If you wanted to speak with me right now on a call, you would have to fight with 10 other people. But the benefit here is that there isn't a way around it. You can reach out to them after a call, or at least, hey, it was really nice to hear you talk. It was nice to meet with you. Do you have about 10 minutes later on to I'd really like to sit down and talk to you about this or about that. That's one way to network during the pandemic. The other way to do this is via social media. If there's somebody that you're really looking to meet and really think that would be beneficial to help elevate your career, reach out to them. Send them a message. Or as students these days, slide into their DMs. There's so many different ways that you can do this to get your network built. And you just have to kind of use whatever you have to your advantage. If that doesn't work, send a box of donuts to somebody's office and say, hey, just wanted to reach out and let you know that, hey, we're thinking of you, and if there's any opportunity for us to work in the future, please let us know. Things like that. It's a very weird time, and I'm still learning how to do this during the pandemic. But the benefit is that everybody who's going through it, especially everybody who's in school right now, are going to be it's going to change the way we do work in the future. And as students right now, you should really take advantage of of doing that, so that when it comes down to it, you will be a pro when once you get into your careers. Okay. So that's pretty much it. So the big key takeaways, about for starting, to start building your network right now is to get involved. Like I said, I cannot stress this enough. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be a professional organization. Just get yourself involved, put yourself out there, and meet as many people as you can. Reach out if there's somebody that you want to know, if there's something you want to learn more about, and there's somebody that you can reach out to them, let them know, ask them for their time. 9 times out of 10, engineers want to help other people. They're never going to find an engineer that's going to say, no, get out of my face. That very rarely happens. And that kind of goes to the next item here is identify key people. If there's somebody that you want to meet, specifically in like a scenario where you're at a conference and somebody of high importance is going to be there, identify who that person is. Maybe do a little bit of a Google stock or LinkedIn stock, see what they do, see if they're going to be there. Maybe something that they've worked on or talked about that you can, and then once you find them at that conference, you can establish some kind of commonality with them, or even send them a message, before you go to a conference, when we start going back to conferences, and say, hey, I'm not sure if you're going to be at this conference, but if you are, it'd be really cool to sit down and meet you, or discuss this with you or discuss that with you. That's happened to me a few times as well, and I've done that as well to other people. Continue building. This is something that never stops. Networking is always going to be part of your careers as engineers. It's not going to go away. You're not ever going to feel like you know enough people, and it's very important if you want to remain in your job, or in a career, and have work to do. You want to continue building and providing value to other people, and be genuine. I can't This one is probably the most important one, on top of getting involved. I can't tell you how many times people have, they've tried to kind of meet me, and it seems like they have a motive of, and if somebody can sense a motive, or somebody's not as genuine, or they're trying to use you, it doesn't seem natural, or it's just very off-putting. I always tell people to be as genuine as you can. You don't want somebody to come up and feel like they're reading a script. I know as engineers we're a little bit introverted, but the easiest thing to do is to be yourself. Go out there and just ask questions, take in as much as you can, and be as genuine as you can. That's a very, very good value in somebody. And then a lot of other key takeaways that I didn't list in here, and this kind of goes more to um, advanced networking, and that's along the lines of strategic networking and figuring out what you can provide to somebody else. If there's, networking is not always one way. There's always going to be a two-way street. So if you have somebody in your circle and you can help them out, that's also going to benefit you as well as it's going to benefit them. And if you can't help them out, and you have a circle that you can introduce them to that can help them out, that's an even better tool to have in your belt once you have that network built. Just being able to connect two people together who need each other. That's an awesome thing to kind of to have under your belt. Let's see. So that's pretty much where I have. That was kind of my last slide as far as networking goes. I know it went kind of quick, but I was hoping that there would be a lot of questions. But before we get into any of that, I just wanted to kind of give a little bit background about where we work, since I know there might maybe be questions about that. GCW has been founded in 1969. We've been around for 51 years in the Valley. We have over 100 employees. And we cover all the disciplines that you see on your screen. So there's a lot of good opportunity to get your hands wet in different things. We have an internship program right now. I'm not sure if we're actually hiring right now because of the pandemic, and it's very hard to train somebody when we're all working from home. But we do have a very successful internship program that has turned into a lot of full-time positions with the company. Me being an example of that. So without further, that's it actually. So if anybody has questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If you want me to elaborate on anything, I can help there too.
So if any of the participants would like to verbally ask their questions, please raise your hand and we'll get to you guys first. But you can also definitely type your questions in the chat. We'll be looking for your questions. So while people are typing away, I actually had a question for you, Jaffer.
Sure.
So I'm currently a junior in civil engineering, and right now, I think more than ever is sort of the time where I'm thinking about um, things like I really need to start looking for internships, things like that. And of course, networking plays a huge role into that. Um, at the same time, I feel like this semester, my workload and my time has been stretched more than ever before. And I was curious if, as you know, back in your days as a student, if you can relate to that, if you had moments like that, and how do you sort of manage between, like, I know it's a time where I really should be networking, but man, I have all this stuff that I have to do.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that. So when I was junior, senior year, the last 3 years of college, I was very involved with AACE. So I was vice president of fundraising, vice president, and president my senior year. Um, that meant that everything that I did, I was at school for probably, it's probably ashamed to say this, but 20 hours out of the day. I would, spend my entire day during, at school, whether it be in class, doing homework, or, working on whatever, projects we had for ASE. If there was a meeting that had to be done, I would, as president, it helped that those meetings were there because as an officer of that organization, because I got a chance, if we had a guest speaker, I would meet them and, introduce them during a meeting, or, you know, that would be my opportunity to build my network. As an officer, that was the one reason why I built my network the way I built it, is because I had that opportunity to meet people who were previous officers, and they introduced me to other people that, they know, or they recommend guest speakers. And that's how I kind of maintained my network. Don't get me wrong, I was tired all the time. If, back in the day when we were in school, we had a college-wide Facebook group, and it was called Engineers Falling Asleep at School. I think it's still alive, and we used to take pictures of everybody falling asleep, on the desks and in class, just because back in, I say back in my day, it's only been 7+ years ago, but everybody, the Great Hall was more like, a town center. We spent all night there, all different engineers too, civil, mechanical. That was our town hall or town center basically. And we studied there, we hung out there, we did everything there. So definitely, keep your head up. It's a struggle. And just, if there's an opportunity for you to meet somebody, take advantage of it. It's a little hard now because of the pandemic, but like I said, you just have to put yourself out there a little bit more and kind of reach out to people if you want to meet them. I'm always open to help out. There's been people that who've reached out to me for internships, and if we can't provide that to them, I will direct them to a company that is hiring. Of course, I'm going to always want them to come to my company, but that can't always happen. But I mean, that would be my suggestion to you. I mean, you're in a weird, in a weird, time right now, but at the same time, when I was going to school, I was going through the downfall. There was no jobs. So if you got an internship, you were gold right there. You were lucky. Um, so if we can get through that, we can get through this, and you'll be fine as long as you just stay on top of it.
Thank you, Jaffer.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so it does look like we have some questions coming in.
Okay. Let's see. The first one, how to develop professional relationships with coworkers and project managers. Um, well, first things first, if as soon as you start working, you're going to be working with a project manager and you're going to be working with coworkers. The easiest way to kind of develop that relationship is just ask questions, uh, be involved in the projects. As much as you can. You got to understand that and I went through this myself. Kind of graduating college, I thought I knew everything, and that was immediately a slap in the face as soon as I started. So kind of check your ego at the door and just understand that you don't know anything, and understand that your managers and your coworkers know that you don't know anything. So ask as many questions as you can. If there's a company function, if there's things going on and the company is doing something, do it. Don't just go home, go to work, go home, go to work, go home. That's not how you're a team player, and you're never going to be um, somebody that is at the top of somebody's list if an opportunity comes up. You may I mean, I'm not saying that it can't happen, but more than likely, if you put yourself out there, you're going to get more in return. Hopefully that helped you out. uh, Next question. What makes you proud to be part of your company? Um, this is this is a good one. I To be honest, what makes me proud is the people I work with. I'm lucky to be in a company where we all treat each other like family. It's not too big. You're not just another number. And it's a company that values employees and doing a good job. It's also, they give us the opportunity to do things that we want to do, and stay involved in things that we want to. When I came on, I was involved with AACE, and I got even more involved while working here, and they've been supportive 100% of the way. So I think that's the best part about working here, is just the atmosphere and the culture that I'm part of. All right, next question from Alejandro. I'm a construction manager major. Question is, what makes a good project manager, superintendent, from your perspective as an engineer? Um, I think the best thing that makes a project manager is communication. I think that's probably the most important thing, not even just for a project manager or superintendent. I think, uh, for all engineers, you got to be vocal about what's going on, asking the right questions, communicating the right things, making sure that everybody who needs to know something knows something. Um, I think communication is probably what makes them good, and knowing who to contact and what to do to kind of get a problem handled is a very good skill to have. At least that's coming from my perspective. Good question. Okay. Next question from Humberto. In your involvement with AACE and everything you've done over the past year, who was in you the most during your career path? Oh man, that's a deep one. Let's see. So I guess I got involved with AACE because a friend of mine kind of suckered me into a position. I had no idea what I was doing. I think what kind of got me to be hooked on it was the people that I met. And I mean, I was a very introverted and shy person, and meeting all these people just kind of opened my eyes. But over the years, it's everybody that has and come before me in the footsteps that I'm following. They're everybody that I've looked forward to. If you don't know who Christina Swallow is, she's the NDOT director, who was the past president of the entire AACE organization. There's people who work at the city of Henderson. There's people who work at within my company as well that have been involved, and they've all been very influential and kind of in my career. But there's also a lot of people that I've met out of college in ASC that have influenced me to keep going. So it's been very beneficial for me. Good question as well. All right, next question. How can we keep in touch with key people in our field? For example, I've contracted with a recruiter of X company for an internship opening, and I have been told that there's an opening. How should we keep our contact with that person to be informed about upcoming openings and also to show we are interested? Okay. First of all, the thing you want to do is you don't want to kind of communicate with them too much. There's such thing as too much communication. The one thing I would tell you to do is to keep up to date with their career pages, their social media posts. If you see them posting that they are hiring again, reach out and say, hey, I noticed that you guys are now hiring for this position. I just want to know if that opportunity is available. I'm really interested in working with your company. I think that would be a good way of maintaining that communication. And if you're not getting any luck with that recruiter, try finding somebody that works at that company that can help you. More often, you'll be able to get better traction through an employee rather than a recruiter. That would be my suggestion to kind of help there. No problem. Does anybody else have any other questions? Awesome. All right. Well, if there's no other questions, thank you again for having me. It's always a pleasure to kind of do these kind of conversations. I hope that you guys are able to gain something out of this. If you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out. My email is on the screen. If you miss it, reach out to the UNLV department. I'm sure they can get in contact with me as well.
Awesome. Thank you, Jaffer. It's been a pleasure listening to you during this workshop.
Thank you for having me.
All right. And thank you to our audience for attending this. I hope you all learned got some really valuable advice and learned a lot of things from this workshop. So I'm also going to plug in our next workshop, A Day in the Life of an Engineer, which is hosted on October 7th, which is a Wednesday at 7 p.m. The speaker is going to be Roxana Lopez of GCW Engineering. Actually, Roxana is a UNLV alum, so if you're interested in that, you'll find. I mean, you'll see more information about that definitely. If you haven't already, you'll definitely receive emails about that sometime soon. Okay, well, with that being said, thank you all for attending and have a wonderful rest of your week.